This is the Digital Savage Experience Podcast, hosted by Roman Prokopchuk, bringing you all things digital marketing, tech, business, and motivation. What's stopping you from becoming relentless in all aspects of life? Are you ready to become a digital savage? Let's get into today's episode.
Hey everyone, this is Roman Prokopchuk, and this is the Digital Savage Experience, episode 53, Conspiracy Theories. So there's a lot of them out there on both sides of the aisle, whether you're conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican, what have you. You have your views and you have your conspiracies that you think have happened or planning to happen. So I saw someone on social media, it was actually a homeless person, in the post go off on a tangent about all these crazy things, but a lot of them made sense. Some of the groups and stuff he mentioned, not necessarily were the Illuminati or stonemasons, the usual kind of New World Order stuff. It was a few groups that I've never heard of, so I wanted to look into them and kind of bring back some information for you guys and kind of my opinions on it. So the main gist of this person's kind of rant, the homeless person that I saw, was that our government is made of two parties for a specific reason, basically to create division and basically misinformation and confuse people and distract people in terms of what they should really be looking out for, but basically pointing out that technically, if this is true, is hearsay, this whole conspiracy thing, that both parties are controlled by the same elements that, control the whole world. So there's a few groups that were mentioned, one of which is the Counsel of Foreign Relations. It was founded in 1921 in the United States. It's a non-profit think tank that specializes in U.S. foreign policy and international affairs. One of the founding members is Rockefeller, and basically becoming a member of it, it's kind of a revolving door. So you can't hold a position of power to be in it, but you can, get off of the council and then basically hold office, leave office, and then get back on the council. So it's kind of sketchy. But they shape a lot of foreign policy decisions, a lot of domestic stuff, push a lot of things through on the global level that nobody really looks out for. So, there's a potential for this group to kind of influence, obviously, the world order and changing, global political climates. Another group is the Bilderberg Group that I never really heard of until I looked it up. So it was founded in 1954 in the Netherlands. It's basically a elite secret summit with world leaders. It's invite only, about 120 to 150 invitees per year. This happens once a year. Basically, there's an agenda, and people talk about these things on an agenda, in terms of like how to solve problems, how to deal with specific things that are challenging currently in the world. But apparently, a lot of backdoor deals are done, and a lot of policy decisions on a global scale are done. So if, this group of people wanted to influence or mold some kind of new world order based on the power in that room, they would probably be capable of doing that. And the third group that was mentioned in the social media post is the Trilateral Commission, which was founded in 1973 and basically brought private sector leaders to discuss global issues. And basically, this was kind of an attempt, or can be an attempt, to consolidate power globally and basically put it in their hands. It was founded by David Rockefeller, so Rockefeller was mentioned a lot in terms of kind of these circles. I think David Rockefeller is always, and the Rockefellers, the old robber barons and things of that nature were always thrown into that New World Order, the influencing group, and the Illuminati talks. But these three groups combined, obviously there's people that overlap in them, but these three groups could possibly mold a new world order or a new kind of system of governing, or create some kind of, in their idea, utopian society, or however they want to mold it based on the amount of power they have. From seeing a lot of things in government and around the world, history, from Ukraine and Eastern Europe, from where I came from historically, power 9 times out of 10 corrupts. Even if you're a good person going into it, there's a lot of things that, will seduce you in terms of power. So there's instances of that being corrupt, but also other than this, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense in everyday society. I mean, there's a lot of things that are nonsense that if you really look into it, it's just smoke and mirrors to get your attention off the main things. So there's like these, whistleblowing things and these nonsense things to get your attention and get you away from policies that are being shaped that you're not even saying anything about, that will influence your lives, your children's lives, even your grandchildren's lives. Then there's crazy stuff that happened in the news, or like, let's say the Vegas shooting that happened somewhat recently. All these people disappeared in terms of witnesses. It happened. Obviously, it was a sad event. Numerous people died. And then almost, it seems like a week later, nobody's talking about it. Then there was that random like Ebola scare in Texas a couple years back. It was like 1 week, and I remember distinctly there was some things that were trying to get passed and back and forth, policy discussions. And this happened in terms of every news outlet was covering it, and then they stopped covering it almost automatically. So it's just like these crazy things pop up in terms of scapegoats to get you away from like what's really going on in terms of policy. Obviously, there's the whole deep state, dark state, whatever you want to call it, the puppet masters behind the government, a certain handful of people dictating policy as well. And that's a possibility on both fronts. But, I mean, the way the country is going, there's a lot of misinformation on both sides. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of hate. So I think everybody should just collect some facts and come at it from a clear mind. I think having discussions nowadays, especially, let's say, on social media, it's just like an attack. It's not anything factual. It's all emotion driven and opinion driven. If you're not bringing facts, like, how are you gonna like make a case? It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. What are you really gonna do? Like, you're not coming prepared to do battle. So I would advise everyone to look into things. It's funny that YouTube actually announced that they're cracking down on conspiracy theory videos. So usually they're not going to start suggesting anymore. They usually suggested or were able to suggest conspiracy like videos as suggested videos to people. Now they stopped doing it to kind of drive or not drive panic and that kind of stuff. But it depends what conspiracy side you're looking at. If they're only conspiracy theories driven by, let's say, conservative viewpoints and on the Republican side that they're blocking, versus, more liberal beliefs that tend to be democratic, then that's more censorship. I mean, we already saw censorship from Facebook, so YouTube started censoring as well. So it's kind of a one-sided argument, but that's neither here nor there. But until next time, guys, I just wanted to share with you. If you guys got any other topics you want to talk about, feel free to reach out. Rate the podcast on iTunes. I'd greatly appreciate it. Share some feedback. Near future, I'm going to have guests. So if you want to be on, hit me up via email, via direct message on social. And until next time, guys, take care. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other places people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you can get paid to podcast. Without Anchor, I don't think I would have ever started a podcast. It's so easy to use, and I record most of my episodes from my phone. So if you always wanted to start a podcast, make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast.
This podcast has been brought to you by Nova Zora Digital. Find out how Nova Zora Digital can help your company grow online. Learn more at novazoradigital.com. Until next time, all you digital savages.